Hi, Ola, Namaste. My name is Piyush Rastogi and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm gonna talk about how I met my Brazilian wife. Yes, I'm married to a Brazilian girl, a beautiful Brazilian girl, and trust me, she's not sitting next to me to tell me that she's a very pretty Brazilian girl. To tell me that she's a very pretty Brazilian girl. Once upon a time, there was an Indian prince, and then he was looking for his wife. So let's start from the start. Leticia came to India in July 2013. She came for an internship through ISEC to work in an export house related to fashion. And this internship, like I said, was from the organization that I used to work. So I was handling that department in the organization to bring internationals to work in export houses or the local companies that were based in Jaipur for having an international experience for their portfolio and like for the profiles that they want to come to India for. Let me tell you one thing. Whenever she was supposed to come to India, I was not the one who was in touch with her. It was my department member because there were like several departments in the organization and I was heading one of the departments. So my member was in touch with her. He used to keep sending her emails, showcasing the opportunities that are there in Jaipur. And he was in touch with her to convince her to apply for this internship. And somehow she got convinced and she applied for this internship. And I was like, let me see her profile. And whenever he showed me the profile, I saw her photo and I was like, are you sure she's Brazilian? Because she doesn't look like a Brazilian girl. And this is something that happens most of the time because, in Brazil, you don't have a particular type of how a Brazilian woman would look like. So this is why I was little, taken aback because I was not sure if she's Brazilian or if she's from somewhere else and living in Brazil. So whenever she did the interview, it was in the month of March or April. And she was like supposed to join the company in the month of July. And in that time itself, she got cleared or she applied for another internship in Italy and she went through that. So I was like, holy shit, I think she would not come to India. Probably she will go to Italy and she would think, these ISEC internships are not worth it and so on. But she applied and she got through the Indian one as well. And then, we sent her the documents for the visa and everything went through. And we were in touch with her like, you should come to India. These are the things that you would really like in India. And in month of July, she finally arrived in India. And then 1 month later, I think in the month of August, there was an international conference that we were organizing for the internationals who were there in India or who were there in Jaipur particularly to work in different, development projects, which are like social development projects or to work in these companies. So there were several internationals who were there in Jaipur and this event was to showcase how ISEC functions and to, get them a glimpse of how this organization helps to transform the experiences of not just internationals but also like individuals like us who were working in Jaipur itself. So that was the first time that I met her. So during this event, we organized the Global Village, which is like an event where every international was supposed to present something of their culture. The ISECers, we decided, we will present a dance from India, like, going crazy on the stage and all. So that's when she saw me for the first time. And like in the future, she told me several times that this is when she had a crush on me. But for me, this was like, okay, we were presenting the dance form and that's it. I didn't have a conversation with her during that time. I briefly met her once outside in the venue itself, like having some lunch or so. That's when I casually asked her, how is your work going? Are you liking your internship? And are you liking working in Jaipur? So that was a very brief conversation we had. And that's how our conversation started. And one day in this event itself, I don't know, I don't remember this, but she told me later that there was a time that she was supposed to go back from the event because her work starts on Monday and the conference was ending on Monday. So she wanted to go, she needed a lift to go back to the city because this venue where we organized the event was outside Jaipur. And I don't know when I promised her that, oh, I'll take you to Jaipur, but I totally forgot and I left her there. And until now, sometimes she tells me, oh, you left me there. After this, we were meeting here and there, like in some party, or like sometimes I used to visit the interns in their intern house just to ask about their experience, how is it going for them, if they need any help. And this is how I used to meet her, once in a while. And our conversation started during these events or like during these meetings, that we started talking about life, about career. I used to keep asking her a lot of things about traveling, because she has traveled a lot. So for me, it was really cool to learn about different cultures and, the places that she has been to. So I used to find her really amazing, because the kind of experience she had, I really wanted to experience all those things. So it was really good to learn from her about those countries and about those cultures. So this is how we used to talk, and I realized that I bonded really well with her, and I kind of became friends with her, and she was really sweet to answer all of those questions that I used to have. So it was really nice, and this is how we used to bond together. Then comes the Diwali event. This is the whole game changer in how I met her, and in our story, it's one of those important moments. So during the Diwali time, we Icicles decided, let's do Diwali with internationals. Let's invite them to our houses so that they could experience some Indian culture, how Diwali is celebrated in India. And I invited her along with her roommates who used to live with her in an apartment. And for my parents also, it would be nice because they will get to know that. And for me, it was really good because this way I could show my parents that, I've been helping internationals to work in Jaipur, and I'm having a lot of good connections with people abroad. So for me, it was like a moment that I felt like, maybe this way they could understand ISEC pretty well, because this was a not for profit organization. So I was not getting paid for working there. So they were like, why are you wasting time and all? So for me, it was really interesting opportunity. So I invited all of them, and to my surprise, they all came dressed in saris, So I was like, wow, this is so cool that they really respect the Indian culture. And for my parents also, it would not be like, oh, they're coming wearing like skirts or, casual clothes to a festival in India. I was really happy. So they came to my house, my parents welcomed them. They saw the whole puja, and they had dinner with my family, and it went on very smooth. So I was like, this was nice. After this, we went to celebrate Diwali, like having a Diwali party where she invited other internationals as well, and some of the other Icicers as well. So there, we were playing some games, we were drinking, and in this moment of conversations and fun, there was a time that I felt really like, talking to her, and I said to her that, you are like really a elder sister to me, because the kind of experience sharing that you do with me, I feel really, really nice, and I feel empowered with all of the kind of experiences that you share with me. And I used to say, I said this because I never had that type of intentions towards her, and I didn't want it to make her feel uncomfortable. And at the same time, I was very sure that because I was 5 years younger than her, so I never thought that this would be a thing, this could be a thing in future. So for me to keep it more respectful, that's why I said it like, oh, you are like an elder sister to me, and so on. So after this, I don't know, she was a little furious. She didn't show it to me, like, in our conversation, it never occurred that she told me, I'm angry with you or anything, or she felt upset with me. But definitely she was upset, and I think our conversation kind of dropped during that time. Like, We, like, before this, we were talking like almost, every day casually, like catching up on how his work and everything. But then after this, there was a sudden break, because then after this, she was planning to travel also during the New Year, Christmas time. So, we used to have very casual conversations in that time. Time passed, then it came the month of December. So in ISEC, how it works is that every year they elect a new body, or they elect the members to become the vice president and president of different departments in the organization. So they elect the new president also for every year. So in that time, I was applying for becoming a president, and for this, I had to make a whole presentation, collect like votes from people on the day of presentation so that I could be elected as a president. So in this period, I was not supposed to get in touch with, the members in ISEC, but I could talk to internationals to understand a little bit about my experience or about their experience, so I could make it better in the next year. So I used to talk to her casually, and in the month of December, when the presentation was supposed to happen, a day before that, I asked her for an endorsement. Like, we were supposed to collect endorsement also. Like, it's a type of a letter that they write for you, saying that, oh, I endorse you, or I support you for this process, and I wish you become the president. So I asked her for this, and in the night, she sent me this endorsement letter. Along with that endorsement letter, there was a huge email. Until today, I have never received an email that long. I was like, wow, she really think I can become the president, and she really knows me better than I do. So I was really shocked, and I was really happy also at the same time, because she was very considerate to write me the endorsement along with that beautiful note, like, making me feel more confident about this whole process and everything. And I was like, I think I will invite her for this process. And I invited her. And to my surprise again, she was the only international present during the whole process of elections, right? So I was really happy to see her there. And I was like, wow, she came all the way to support me on weekend where she could do other things, so I was really happy about it. And so on, like, I realized that I think she kind of likes me as a friend, and I am a really good friend of her. Until this moment, I was not clear that she had some feelings beyond friendship. To my luck, I actually won the election, so I became the president in the year 2014 of ISEC in Jaipur. And I could see that she was also really happy, and I was also very happy. And that's when she started giving me a lot of ideas. We started talking, because she was working with marketing part. So she used to give me a lot of ideas about how I can, I can improve marketing in ISEC in that time. So I used to really enjoy our conversations. So in the month of January, when my term actually started, she started doing something that I think it is a very, very Brazilian women thing, which is she was really persistent in trying that, somehow I get to understand that she likes me beyond friendship. So what she started doing was that she started visiting me in the ISEC office, and she started staying till the time that I'm leaving from ISEC, like from the office. Okay. She was working in her office. She used to come to the ISEC office and stay there working. I am using the internet, or, oh, I have some ideas to share. Can I come to the ISEC office? Then I'm like, yeah, okay, why not? Then she used to stay there until I was leaving back for my home. And then she used to ask me, oh, can you drop me to my apartment? I was like, okay, yeah, why not? Because her apartment used to be on my way to my house, So I was like, okay. And because in January it was winter's time, so what she used to do was, in the month of January in India, it's usually winters. So I used to ride a scooter in that time. So I used to drive her back to her apartment. And during this ride, what she used to do was, she used to put her hand in my jacket, like in these pockets which are around your belly. So she used to put her hands in the jacket and she used to, oh, I'm feeling cold. Can I put my hands in the jacket? I was like, okay, not a problem, and so on. During these times, I finally realized that, I definitely think she just don't consider us as friends. I think there is something more to it. On the 14th of Feb, which is like Valentine's Day in India and rest of the world as well, I proposed to her that, oh, I really like you. I actually said I love you. Will you be my girlfriend? Then she was like, holy shit, are you sure that you love me? Because that's not how it works. I didn't used to have a lot of experience in dating. So for me, it was like, yeah, I will just propose and I will say I love you. And that's how it works for me. So I proposed to her, and then we became like. Then she was like, let me take some time, think about it, and then I can answer it to you in a couple of days. But the day that I proposed, I was so sure the answer is gonna come yes. But I said, yeah, take your time, not a problem. But then what I kept doing was that in after 14th, I kept saying, oh, you really don't love me. Really? You wanna be my girlfriend, but you don't love me. So after a few days, she finally said, okay, fine, I love you as well, okay? And that's when how we started dating, and this is the initial start of our relationship. In the initial phase, it was very crazy because there were so many cultural differences. Plus, in that time, I didn't want to tell other people about our relationship because, it's a little complicated to explain it to people that I'm dating a foreigner. Even to my friends, it was a little crazy. So I didn't tell any of my friends, but that's how I met. And so this is how we met. This is my version of the story. This is how we met, and this is how I used to feel from my side. As a couple, we kept evolving with time because earlier there were a lot of challenges for her when she was living in India. So I was there to help her through those challenges. And in Brazil, she's the one who's helping me with a lot of things, and sometimes even some basic stuff like, going to the grocery store with me or taking me to the dentist and these type of things. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you like this video, please do hit the like, and please drop a comment what part of the story you found very amusing or was very beautiful in our story. You're most welcome to share any kind of comments or suggestions that you have about my channel. So thank you so much. Bye bye. Namaste.